We will call to order the regular committee of the whole meeting. Can we begin with roll call, please?
Councilmember Shimmers. Here. Detterman.
Here.
Seeley.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Oben.
Here.
Mussman.
Here.
Kearns.
Here.
First item, Shannon? Michelle?
Okay.
Perfect. I just go off what's on my script here.
You're gonna give her a break tonight.
She's learning
Twist my
delegation.
arm. Literally. My name is Michelle Plashard. I'm the director of the Empowerment Center. Tonight, we are here to give our annual report on the use of TIF LMI funds. In your packets, please refer to TIF LMI report as well as what we do. As a brief synopsis, our Empowerment Center provides assistance to individuals and families experiencing homelessness or on the brink of homelessness, getting or helping keep a roof over that person's head or their family's head. For the past 7 years, since 2018, the city has provided the YWCA with TIF LMI funds, a special pot of funding that is specified to serve low to moderate income families in Clinton with housing needs and low-income housing projects. As you can see in our report provided, this past year, we served 38 adults and 17 children with these City of Clinton TIF LMI funds. We were able to help these individuals and families with rental deposit, rent, and utilities to help get them back on their feet. At the YWCA, the strong change component is our case management. Our case managers work hard with clients to address their needs to set a better foot forward for the future. Our Empowerment Center budget is $530,000, is mostly grant funded. TIF LMI funds greatly assist residents of Clinton in staying or becoming housed, but these funds also help count as match for other grants we receive and are able to assist Clinton and Jackson counties with. It's important to note that all the funds go directly to rent deposits and utilities for the clients, and they are all residents of Clinton. This is not a donation to the YWCA. We are basically a pass-through for this TIF LMI funding for residents of Clinton. The YWCA's ability to help more people and reach more of our grant match and be able to bring additional funding to our community is the best benefit to this YWCA. YWCA Clinton is a general provider for homelessness in Clinton and Jackson counties. We operate the housing helpline where folks can call and get on a waiting list for services in our county. This list could be for homeless prevention, for folks who are literally homeless, or people who have been chronically homeless for a very long time. Most of the needs, roughly 90% we see, are within the city of Clinton. One of the questions that we ask is their last known zip code, and that's where we get that information. We are proud to be here to serve those most vulnerable in our community that are ready to get on a positive path forward. Street outreach, emergency shelter, rapid rehousing, and permanent supportive housing services are all things that we 55 housing crisis line calls. Again, that's our helpline, housing helpline. 110 people were able to stay in their homes, rapid rehousing and permanent supportive housing, and 7,005 referrals were made to partner agencies and programs. Over 5,505 nights of emergency shelter provided due to FEMA and COVID funding that ended in May of 2023. The needs are increasing exponentially. At the County Community Resource Center, which the YWCA helps staff, the majority of needs reported are housing needs. The Clinton Community School District has identified over 125 students who are experiencing homelessness, and those are only the families that have identified themselves, as many choose not to. The County Health Needs Assessment surveyed from community members has identified homelessness as one of the top 4 health concerns for our county for the first time to our knowledge. We are not alone. 37% of Iowans cannot meet basic needs on United Way's most recent ALICE report. That means over a third of our community are one major setback, illness, job loss, car repair away from losing their homes. Homelessness and affordable housing are a problem that is best served by a community-based approach. This has been a great partnership, and we look forward to working together to assist more people to live, grow, and thrive here within the city of Clinton. Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you. Council members, any questions at all?
Just
Councilmember
one
Oberon.
little quick one, the point in time, when's that next one going to happen?
The next one is July 30th. It's the summer pit count. And that's not mandatory, but we always do it anyway. And then the mandatory one is always in January. So, last year, we found 30 folks that were unsheltered on our last pit count, and we had 55 that were sheltered. So, still a lot of folks out
Still a
there
lot of folks,
living on
yeah.
the streets.
All right,
Anything else?
all right. Any other discussion from council or questions? An item here, correct?
Correct.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. All right. Administrator Brooke.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, council members. So raise your hand if you remember Liz Hanson. Several years back, we did our strategic planning. Now, I did take the 22-24, made it 22-25 because we were still working on things. But basically, what I'm asking you tonight for, I could just ask now, is if you'd like to reconvene in August and September with Liz to then create a 25, 26, 27 objectives, goals, strategy for that. And so I included all those there. I made a little slide for you guys. And so for those of why this was an important event, I believe, is when you start to look at this, you guys created the vision and mission behind us, the core values. This all came from you all. We had progress highlights. We had major upgrades to the sewer, ADA sidewalks, road improvements, PCI rating of 30 to 65. Economic development, we had new housing developments in Riverstone and Zara Heights, Wilson Building revitalization and industrial expansions, ADM, Nestle, just to name a few. Community enhancements of park upgrades, Riverview Park improvements, expanded recreation facilities, public safety, we had staffing stability, new equipment, technology, from license plate readers to body cams and software. Finance, we had balanced budgets, lowered levy rates, improved bond ratings, held bond ratings steady, and successful grant acquisitions. For operations, new software systems, employee evaluations, enhanced communication tools. And that was built off of the challenges that were identified by you all was in the department heads, workforce recruitment and retention, which I think we're holding a good line on that and keeping our good folks. Housing shortages and homelessness, which was a key discussion there. Infrastructure gaps in aging facilities, and that's our city-owned facilities. Communication gaps among leadership, need for updated policy and procedures, and economic competitiveness and population decline were the key challenges identified. How we ended up coming with the strategic goals, basically maintained a balanced budget and strong bond rating, improved communications with citizens, employees, stakeholders. I think we're on our second iteration of 311 or, being able to notify, but also we've now on our second generation of our website update, being able to get the word out. And of course, iCompass was part of that outcross of goals and objectives. Support economic growth and housing initiatives, which you guys have done. Promote employee development and organizational efficiency, which we've done. Strengthen public safety and emergency services, which they have done very well. And continued on blight removal and revitalization. And one of the stats Tammy and I talked about the other day, because I had to do the Moody's rating with Anita, is we had 175 demolitions over the last 5 years, but now we've had over 75 that are owner-directed. So we're seeing a switch a little bit in not taxpayer money per se, but now the owners having to take care of their buildings. So I thought that was very good. We also had new initiatives, which I think we hit all these. Conduct a stormwater utility study. We had the University of Iowa do that. We did Hightown, other areas. We've had several facade grants and other facade grants. Now working on the YMCA. Launch the citywide website and new website, citywide apps, and then evaluate and improve city facility
Two
tours.
times on the website.
2 times on the website. Now it's 2.0, thanks, Krista. Roles and responsibilities were laid out, city council, policy makers, budget approval, strategic oversight, the mayor, facilitating the meetings, public representation and conflict resolution, city administrator, policy implementation, staff leadership and budget management, department heads, operational leadership, budget execution, interdepartmental coordination, employees, service delivery, professionalism, community representative, representation, citizens, civic engagement, tax support, and community involvement. And then we had for overall strategic goals, we've kept the same core, but that strategic goals and objectives align with the 10-year capital improvement plan. As you see, I stretched it 22 to 25, and that was always, we keep these are the base foundation, is maintain a strong financial position. So like, we've talked about this before, if I get 4 things that come into my office at one time, and these are the order, this is the order I'll do them. So if it's finance related, that'll be first. Enhanced communications with citizens, employees, stakeholders would be second. Of course, for you guys, I'll do it all at the same time because you want them all done. And then promote healthy physical, economic, and community environment, and then continually improve the city services and organizational effectiveness. Key focus for that is, on the 26 capital improvement plan that you guys adopted, we looked at, really focused on Manufacturing Drive and Bluff Boulevard, the pavement management program, public safety and life safety, fire, police, and emergency services upgrades, community development, we had Parks and Rec, which you guys approved tonight, which is awesome, which I forgot to mention because Josh told me to, but the playground for Jurgensen Center, the neat thing that goes with that is the Rotary's work in a pavilion. So there'll be several more things added to the Jurgensen Soccer Complex, but that's big focus. That's just one project, but a big focus on the amenities and within the Parks and Rec, and be able to improve those consistently. And then sustainability maintenance, bridge repairs, traffic safety, water reclamation, et cetera. And those all support the financial stability, the quality of life, economic growth, and community input. And how we do that is, and I just took a few snips off of Teams, which we have this. Do you still have access to that?
Yeah.
Yep. So and we can get you access, but this is
With the new computer.
Oh,
It's
true.
been wonky,
But
so.
what we'll look at for this coming year is as we get ready for CIP again and everything, but this is a living, breathing document, and we do 10 years, but then we focus you guys on 1 year at a time, because that's what we can control. And so this is just an overview. It's kind of hard to, the engineering as example here to go through. I keep putting this in the wrong spot. But this is how Jason goes through and looks at prioritize and looks at the pavement management program, what's coming up, looks at bluff and manufacturing, what we have to do, looks at demo fund, 80/80 curbs, and that's kind of how we focus on that. Well, there's a lot of things in the out years, but they don't have any funding aligned. I'll take a kind of a term that like the railroads use. They'll commit to a project, but they don't obligate the funds. So we're having the department heads basically commit to, hey, this needs to be done, but there's no funding until you guys give the thumbs up for that. So no funds have been obligated for that. But we have to be able to do that because you can't just, borrow it all this year and not have anything in the out years. So a good pace, if you will, on this race to continue to upgrade things. And I used Parks and Rec as example as it ebbs and flows. But, we do have like a sports complex in out years, although the funds are down here at the bottom. But we take a look at that and say, how can that be feasible? Can we make that happen? But then, as you guys know, there's second, third, and fourth order of effects, because then that's debt service levy, that's the taxes, and et cetera. And then really what that all then narrows down from your goals and objectives for us and the staff, for myself and the staff, then to be able to zoom in on what are those priority projects we have to focus on for the next fiscal year. You guys are familiar with this because you just approved this during the budget season. But I just like to point out too is if you look at the bottom here, so the total cost of all these projects is $36 million. And yes, I'll say, partly because there's a big amount of money for Manufacturing Bluff, but we put $10 million to that $36 million match.
Yeah, that's good.
Or there's $26 million that we're getting for our $10 million that goes in. So I think you guys have been very equitable as far as how we use funding, where we direct that, and I think it's all been, this is my opinion, all been in line with your goals and objectives that you outlined for us. All of these fit in there, and one of the things when I take this to the Planning Commission, it has to not only meet the strategic plan, but it also has to fit in our goals and objectives that you guys set. So that kind of just leads to nesting strategy, how that strategy aligns with our CIP, $500,000 that we wouldn't have been able to fund, but we used motel hotel tax, which is legal to do that, to be able to get those projects done. And that's the creative piece of, if you're not planning for it, you're not going to know how to be able to then fund those or come up with alternate funding streams for that. Communications, once again, public engagement, council, and it's still tough. I think this is one of those things that you have to work on all the time, because you'll never reach everybody. I mean, we have a Lighthouse edition that goes out 4 times a year to every single housing unit, but it might get discarded, and there's vital things that are in there and everything and updates. So I think that's just a continued progress piece that you keep working on to be able to engage and reach folks out there. But community environment, projects like parks, housing, infrastructure, directly enhance livability. I just said this the other day in the Moody's piece, but we still have over 9,000 people that drive to Clinton every day to work. So let's legally capture them, right? And have them, get a housing unit here and stay and make Clinton their home. And then organizational improvement, cross-department collaboration, and the CIP planning, because we talked a little bit about bundling, saving. I think the finance committee is doing a good job of looking at that as how can we best use our dollars and stretch them as far as we can. And so really what this leads to is, and I'm done in 1 minute, is extremely important to continually align the strategic goals with capital planning, because we must. And then be prepared for surprises, because, the best plan is, good until the first shots are fired. Typically, that's what we use in the military euphemism, right? But without any plan, then you're just kind of wandering around in the desert. So community involvement and feedback and to refine future plans. And I've been here 8.5 years. I've actually seen it ebb and flow. I've seen a higher turnout for people to participate in things than I did when I first got here. It's kind of been up and down, but and you guys know this, but you start seeing the same folks too. If we can start to reach out. I remember when we did the roundabout things, we had different folks that showed up, like at the Erickson Center stuff, and that's good to see those folks get interested as well. And really, all this leads to is nesting and see if you guys would like to give me direction to coordinate with Liz. It'll be less than $7,000. I think it's like $6,700. We get a discount for being past customers. She will come in, she'll orchestrate it. There'll be some homework you guys have to do, to write things down and write it out. But I thought it was a really good exercise and brought us together. And this is even good, even with elections for some up in November. This is still good to kind of set the framework for the next 2 to 3 years and kind of get everybody on the same sheet of music. So,
All right. Any discussion on this?
we'll have food. I'll bring some food.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm kind of on thinking that, shouldn't we do this? Don't we have 4 seats up this year? Isn't it gonna be 4?
Yeah. Well, I went back and forth, and I think you guys, because this is, out of 15 council members I had, you guys have been the longest time at one set together. My opinion is, I think you guys should codify and put together a really good roadmap. I think a lot of things will stay the same, but then you guys, with your experience, can set the next folks up, if it's not you again, if it's next folks, set up for success. So that would just be my 2 cents.
Yeah.
And we can always relook it if we get, down the road if we need to.
And I would think, I'm kind of with Cody that, having elections coming up, but also what we're doing here is more on an administrative and management style, not necessarily a project by project
I
kind of
agree.
thing. So it's kind of like, it's good that, right now, we have a lot of long-term experience that we can, make a roadmap here. We're not, gonna.
Well, we also are gonna have a lot of potentially different perspectives. that,
Yes, exactly, yeah.
I guess between doing it now or the beginning of the next term, 6 months from now, I'm kind of curious to see I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it'll largely be the same people sitting here. Maybe it won't. Maybe their
We know
goals and
3 of us will be
objectives
the
will be
same.
very different.
Well, and I think the challenge too is when we looked at like the calendar is, we're gonna go right into budget
Yeah.
before people
Well,
are even elected. I think there's value in having a third party, because otherwise you get me and you guys can tune me out if you want or not, but because she will, like she did last time, she'll collect your data and she'll put that all together, and then she'll kind of build the framework. And what's gonna be a little different this time is you guys will know a lot of stuff we already done, right? Because I was sending this stuff last time, like, hey, here's all the projects we completed, but you'll have that. And maybe it's just some small tweakings. I don't know if we're gonna spend time on changing the vision and mission statement, for example. We might not have to. I think what would be important is, when we look at the next 2, say 3, maybe even 10 years, we can open that up, is what are those priorities as you hear from the citizens out there that we need to make sure we're meeting, that we're nesting in with what we have to do. And I'll give examples. So if sports complex is one of those, then maybe we should expand this out for a few more years and make sure that we can lock that in and see what that means as far as dollars and cents, for example, to take a look at that. And then, after that is just how do we then just maintain what we have? Because these I've never really changed: financial health, communications, community environment, organizational improvement. We've always kind of really focused on that because it's all about the dollars. It's about communicating. It's about making the experience of Clinton better for folks that are here and visitors. And then also it's about making our departments better. How can they be stronger, faster, more agile?
Yeah, I didn't dislike when we did it. It was fine. I didn't say fun, I said fine.
Fine.
Yeah. I do think it's important that, I think this would be a great team building exercise too, forever sitting up here. So I don't really like spending $7,000 on this, and I would like to see it wait till we know who's sitting up here, because I think this would be a good way for them to start out. I know it'd be a little bit, it would have to be probably May or June before you did it because of budget season, but that's just kind of my perspective on it. I don't care what you guys decide. I'm not that passionate about it either way, you know what I mean? So.
Well, and I thought it would be a good time too, because even if we're not changing the whole world on our slides, just to come together as a team, be offsite, at offsite, have a third party that's there, work with the department heads, mesh with the council members. I think that's also good, because there could be some things that don't need to be at this higher level. Just some other smaller things that we work through and have discussions on, whether it be how we do certain checklists for things or how we run through certain inspections for things, you know. There could be other things that we could then have conversations, you know, with the department heads as well. That will be fresh in your minds.
All right, any other discussion from anyone? All right, well, I would entertain a motion from someone, either to move forward on this or not.
I'll make a motion to move forward with a July, August,
September.
kind of September timeframe to revisit.
Okay.
I mean, you're
Our-
literally going right into elections.
Yeah, and
I
That-
just
that-
think you're wasting money doing it before.
see, and see, I look at it like I see
Yeah.
that what you're saying is, but we're also gonna be losing all that experience
Well,
to kind of, you know, and I know it's 6 of one, half a dozen another.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to proceed with a contract with, I can't remember the name of it, Midwest Municipal Consulting.
Very good.
Any other discussion on the motion and second there? All right, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Shimmers. Yes. Detterman.
Yes.
Seeley.
no.
Davis.
Yes.
Oberon.
Yes,
Mussman.
Yes.
Kearns.
Yeah, yes. I don't know.
All right. Okay. Moving to council updates. Anybody have any updates of anything? Councilman Roburn?
just want to mention that there's something happening next Friday that everybody's invited to during the course of the afternoon and evening in Riverview Park, sponsored by a local nonprofit group. I think they're officially titled 4th of July Celebration, but I don't know exactly what their name is. But they'll be doing something down there. A lot of good things going to happen.
Parade at 1 o'clock.
Parade at 1 o'clock, yep.
I think 2 o'clock.
Coming.
2 o'clock is when everything starts, or 2:15.
Yeah, that
So right
sounds
now,
right.
time. They'll do the national anthem, they'll get started there, so, that'll be good. I'll be in the dunk tank right away. Bring your donations.
So get there early.
Yeah.
Bring your donations, yep.
Bring
yep.
the ice cubes.
After being in the parade in the back of a Jeep,
Yeah.
I will want to be in the dunk tank, so. It'll be fine.
Burger cook-off
Oh, yeah?
this Friday, 6 to 9, up 4 Square Park. We're moving it up there, so it should be big.
Good.
Got
Okay.
the Stockwell's playing on the band shell from 6 to 9,
Yep.
so, yeah.
Good.
Bring your
Right.
appetite, there we go.
Grow Clinton annual meeting is tomorrow night at the Wild Rose Casino. It's like 4 o'clock is when everything starts. I think 6 o'clock is dinner. They have dueling pianos and all that stuff. So that's tomorrow night if you RSVP with them. Anything else? Adjourned? Thank you very much.
One more.
I don't know.